Well, here it is, the 2025 CFL semifinal playoffs. So, what else are we going to talk about on the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast? Coming up next. Hello and welcome to the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast. My name's Oz Davis. I'm the co-host for the show, and joining me, as always, is my friend Joe Pritchard. But I don't know. I don't like your gear this week, Joe.
I dress pretty every week, and this week you don't like it. Why would that possibly be? I don't understand.
Why would that possibly be? Fantastic that we get so this would be the second time in 3 years that we get a Rouge, White, and Blue Bowl of sorts in the playoffs. We're just this week on the Rouge, White, and Blue. Joe so nicely did an episode solo this week. So right now, today, we're just going to talk these two playoff games. I certainly hope that's all right with the audience.
But I miss doing our playoff roundup and how things are going to happen and what's going to change if this team wins this game. It's so boring now.
Well, look at it this way: the scenarios for the next round are pretty easy.
Yes, they are. And I don't need to do any rocket surgery to figure out what happens if this team wins. They do this. If this team loses, they go home. It's pretty simple now.
How's the tiebreaker work in this?
Overtime.
Yeah, it's always strange to me. You know, you talk about how you are the CFL historian. History fan, and it's always super strange to me the double playoff championship game scenario that they used to use in the CFL. Really strange. Best of two. So I just was thinking before the show about how you would do such a thing. I mean, okay, game 2 playoff preview. In the first game, Winnipeg won by 22 points. So that means the game plan is to score 23 points. You know,
I mean, it's happened in my lifetime and almost the same exact scenario you just laid out.
Right.
In 86, Toronto won by a chunk over Hamilton in the first game. And then the second game, Hamilton storms all the way back to win the total point series by 3. Right. Now imagine winning a playoff game and going home afterwards because you didn't score enough points.
Right. Exactly. So you win the game but lose the war, right? Yeah, very strange setup. But we are back in the traditional
Can you
format.
Imagine the prevent defenses going on if you had a lead?
You just start the game in the dime, right? Just playing the whole game with 6 guys in the secondary. Fantastic. Well, like I said, we're starting the playoffs with that eastern half. That Winnipeg. Welcome back, by the way, Joe. Welcome back to the East.
I didn't miss the East, I'll be honest. What's funny is that I did the full. I mean, I was more of a CFL fan than most Americans would be from like 96 to like 2013 or what have you. Even went to some games, saw a Grey Cup, but like my full dive into, okay, I'm watching this every week now. I'm watching every Winnipeg game I could possibly watch, plus as much of the other stuff as I can get happened just as Winnipeg was going back to the West for the first time. And almost a decade at that point, and like really the first time for a long stretch since the 80s. So I'm used to Winnipeg being in the West. I was around for the Eastern portion where
Mhm.
Winnipeg decided to mimic their Eastern counterparts and not be all that good. Unless you were Montreal, they were good for a long time. But like every other East team from like 1981 on was just kind of like garbage for like
Oh
a
my
long
God.
time. Winnipeg moves over and goes, huh, you know, I think we'll join them. Like
Mhm.
they spent a little bit of time winning the East, and it's like, you know what, their life seems pretty fun. Let's just do that for a while, and then just not win a Grey Cup for like 30 years.
If even if you can beat them, join them.
Join. Yeah, Winnipeg
um,
isn't a new thing for me, but it's a new thing for me.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
No, the
Winnipeg
first
gets
CFL game I did see was in 2006. They were in the East, so
mhm. Nice. Well, like I say, welcome back. Actually, I did want to throw this at you. I thought it was pretty interesting. The tack that Winnipeg employed in last week's game against Montreal. Um, I guess the thinking was, well, we're gonna be the visitors next week anyway, so
uh-huh.
it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. We shouldn't play our starters, right?
Right.
We're in,
We're either going
right?
to Calgary or Montreal,
Montreal, right, right, right. So
and
I thought it
neither
was
one
a
of those is a
pretty,
good matchup. So whatever. Let's just have
uh-huh,
fun.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. We can talk about that Calgary Winnipeg matchup in just a minute. That might have happened because, yeah, bad
No, thank
matchup
you.
for Winnipeg. Yeah, bad matchup for Winnipeg, apparently. But instead, Winnipeg goes to Montreal, where they are a 6.5 point underdog. I was
Seems fair.
surprised. I was okay. All right. I was a little surprised at the size of that gap. Um, in 2025, the Bombers won both matches last week. Of course, we had the game with McLeod Bethel Thompson starting for the Owls. But to be fair, like I said,
That was each
most
team's third preseason game, and
right,
let's not get too carried away here.
right.
To the point where I didn't realize it had started until like 10 minutes in. I was in the middle of cleaning my
Wow.
basement with my wife and just was like, I
Oh
could put
yeah.
this on, but I'll catch it later. And then I'll be honest, I never did.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
Really? Huh. No, I looked at it for sure. To be fair, I can grouse about Bethel Thompson, but to be fair, Terry Wilson was in there most of the game for Winnipeg. So the other time they matched up this year was in week 12. Winnipeg wins 26-13. And Montreal's quarterback on that day was James Morgan. Do you remember the James Morgan era, Joe?
I do. He's from Green Bay, so I definitely do.
Right, right. And that was the game in which Tyler Snead threw a 44-yard pass and was almost the longest play of the game.
They should
So
have probably started him.
he got a nice little fantasy bonus there that week. Okay, coming into the game, Montreal's on a 5-1 run. That follows up an 0-5 skid in which we were playing quarterback
When you didn't
revenge.
have a quarterback. So
Right, playing
you're
quarterback
10 and
revenge.
8. I think it was what, 10 and 8, right?
Yeah.
Your 10 and 8 record kind of has a little asterisk next to it. Like
Oh
this
yeah.
could be better
Yep.
if we had healthy quarterbacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I prefer to think of this as 10-2. And then 6 games that didn't really count. Like I say, Montreal's on a 5-1 run, but the loss was that one last week in which most of the starters weren't playing.
Yeah,
Winnipeg,
nothing to play for, so I get it.
right, right. Davis Alexander is at 11-0. His last 11 starts. Yeah. Don't get tired of saying that. And Winnipeg, of course, as we know, Winnipeg hasn't put together any streak of more than 3 games, winning or losing this season. So if you have to pick the hotter team, it's Montreal coming into this game. Interesting contrast between these two games. The cliche says defense wins championships. Okay, so we got a nice game here. Montreal and Winnipeg are number 1 and number 3, respectively, in passing yards allowed and total yards allowed. On offense, however, now, here we go. Here's more asterisks, Joe. On offense, Winnipeg and Montreal are ranked 5th and 8th, respectively, in total yards, and 6th and 7th in scoring. So, 2 non-playoff teams scored more points than Winnipeg this year, Joe. Surprising? Surprising? I don't know. Key to the game. I chose a key to the game here. I think the key to the game is going to be the running game. This is where these two teams really separate from one another, even if you include the alternate quarterback stats to be on a par with Davis Alexander's stats. Winnipeg, behind, of course, Brady Oliveira, is number 2 in the league in rushing, and Montreal is 8th. Now, Montreal is 2nd or 3rd, I forget, against the run. So that might cancel out a little bit. But sadly, we can't really expect anything from the Montreal running game. Stevie Scott, after having that breakout game in September for 125 yards, he's played in 9 other games this year, and he's averaging 33 yards a game. So I almost feel like for both of these teams, the best thing that could happen is that the other team gets out to an early lead and they're forced to pass. That'd certainly be the best scenario for Montreal.
I mean, we've seen Jason Moss abandon the running game before. This is nothing new.
Oh, yeah. No.
But, like, he abandoned it hard this year. So,
oh, yeah.
Which is surprising considering how often Davis Alexander's been out, right?
Right.
You'd think you would try to find a running game or lean on a running game to help out your backup quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Didn't seem to work out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. The running in Montreal has not been the same since William Stanback left town. It's just not there since then. So,
and let's be fair, and I talked about this with that Santino too. They ignored William Stanback just as well as Montreal could have. So
yeah, oh yeah. Jeez, what I wouldn't do to have Stanback in there as you know, that short yardage back. I mean, we'd be using him on those plays more often than, you know, the Red Blacks did all year in regular scenarios. So in any case, all right. So for you, Joe, how does Winnipeg win this game?
Davis Alexander goes out early with an injury.
You're kidding.
And I'm not kidding.
That's wow. Okay. Pessimistic.
And the Bombers keep Zach Claros healthy. Also not a guarantee. We've seen that a lot this year. And they play ball control and they force Montreal to make mistakes on offense. Like, I just, like, you could just, if you drew up a blueprint of how do you win on the road, it's make the other team make mistakes, make the other team have to play desperate with their less than best players. Like, that's the game plan here. They're going to have trouble with Noel Thorpe blitzing. They just will. Zach Claros has been under pressure a lot this year. The offensive line hasn't been the same stalwart it has been over the past few years. There's questions about whether the offense is being called correctly. Protections might be an issue because there's been plenty of times I've been sitting there and going, there's an offensive lineman standing there in space and a defensive lineman behind him. Like, how did they not communicate and get this right? I'm also not an offensive line expert. It could have just been the defense made a great play and confused the Bombers, or maybe Zach didn't call the right protections at the line or didn't adjust to something he saw, what have you. But there were more than a few times where I'm like, that wasn't called right, clearly, because you don't usually have a guard standing there near the line of scrimmage and a pass rusher behind him by 3 yards and like not even engaged. So, and Noel Thorpe's good at confusing quarterbacks. So this is going to be a game where Winnipeg's going to be hard pressed to score points, even if everything else is to their advantage.
Mhm. Maybe they should stop letting Crankshaft call plays in Winnipeg.
Maybe they should let him call plays. I mean,
Nice.
I mean,
Nice.
really, the one time Crankshaft called plays, they won the game, right?
Right. You didn't even blink, Joe. I thought I might get you on that one.
No,
Very nice. Very nice.
I mean, let's put it this way: Jason Hogan's in his first year as an offensive coordinator. This is the first time he's had this role.
Mhm.
It's a mix of veterans and younger players on this team. It's a hard and with the expectations, it's a hard place to learn how to do this.
Mhm.
But clearly, something is amiss. It's not the same as it's been in the past few years.
Mhm. 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 Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
also don't have a now you have a defense that's being called that isn't as dynamic as it was in the past few years, causing turnovers either. That
Mhm.
could be Jordan Younger style. And those two are clashing potentially, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
There's a lot of different reasons why. And the Bombers were about the same record last year, too, right? But
Mhm.
this year just felt like such a
Yeah.
slog.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It looks a lot more difficult this year than it has in the past for the Bombers, and they're lacking that explosive play offense. I can easily see one of these games where the game plan for Winnipeg is going to be just to grind it out with Brady. We're not going to worry about that pass rush. We're just going to run the ball, really try and slow down the clock. On the other hand, Davis makes big plays. This is
Davis
an
makes big
explosive.
plays. The Montreal defense stops the run,
So,
too.
yeah,
Yeesh.
yeah. Well, see, that's going to be the thing. That's going to be the thing. If Montreal can stop the run, this is game over. This is game over real quick because we're not going to make mistakes on offense. We don't. Not when Davis is in the game. We may not have a running game, but we don't turn it over on the offense. I believe that we were eighth in the league in turnovers, so among the best, even with the alternate quarterbacks in the game. So we're not going to make mistakes there. I think the chink in the armor here is if Winnipeg can just run it the whole game. I think that's the only way they can do it. I like Montreal in the game. I six
I
and
do
a
too.
half seems like a lot, but it could go that way. The wheels could come off. All right. So that was an easy scenario in that game. Second game that we've been expecting for a while now, but still kind of a weird one given where these teams are right now. BC is on a 6-0 run and an 8-2 run beyond that after a very slow start. Calgary is on a 3-0 run, which, thinking back on it, is a little bit surprising. They haven't really passed the eye test ever since Vernon Adams got injured and came back. Calgary has been literally 500 against every team except the Riders and the Bombers. They're 5-0 against those teams and 6-7 against everybody else. So Calgary has been quite the enigma this year. However, one thing that's not up for question is how they've played against BC. 2 games this year. Week 16, 52-23 BC. Week 18, 38-24. And if I recall correctly, most of those Calgary points were in the fourth quarter in that game. BC is a monster. Number 1 in scoring, number 1 in passing, number 1 in points scored. Since week 6, they are averaging exactly, you know how many points per game they've been scoring, Joe?
A lot.
35 on average.
I was gonna say like 40.
35 on average. Well, I'll tell you what, in those 2 games against Calgary, they're averaging 45. Now,
Yeah.
Calgary is number 4 in scoring, number 4 in passing yards, but number 1 in running yards. So I think they're going to be spinning the scoreboard here. I think this is not defense wins championships. And here's what I have in my notes. I think that If this game is about the quarterbacks, BC's going to win. if the storyline of this game is it was about Vernon Adams, oof, I would not want to be in Calgary. I would not want to be Vernon Adams if he's the headline of this game, because I can't see a scenario in which, I guess if Calgary put up like 45 points, they could do that. But they haven't been doing that. They haven't been doing that in the second half of the season. So I think BC's just going to play basketball like they've been doing.
Yeah. Also, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this swings the complete opposite of what we're thinking.
Really? Okay, now Calgary is number 8 against the pass this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're facing this machine in the passing offense. That's a bad matchup. This is why they're allowing 90 points in 2 games.
They're going to put up, BC's going to put up a ton of yards.
Yeah.
Do they put up a ton of points, or does Calgary take the ball away?
Wow. Okay.
Like, the only road I see to victory for Calgary is multiple interceptions off of Nathan Rourke or fumbles by the BC receivers. And Vernon Adams has one of those games where it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why we think he's awesome.
Yeah. Whew. It's hard to get behind that, though. It's hard to get.
I don't think it's not the likely scenario. I also can't entirely rule it out.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's not like before where you could be depending on this guy to blow up in this situation. Absolutely not.
I also want to see, before I'm super duper confident in BC, and if we're talking about them next week, I want to see Nathan Rourke come out and take control of a playoff game. He hasn't had a lot of playoff experience in his career yet. And it's a different beast. Just knowing that one game is it for you.
Yeah.
He struggled against Winnipeg in the 2022 West Final. He's still dealing with injuries. A young kid. Entirely understandable. He hasn't seen the playoffs since.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm expecting him to come out and play a pretty good game because he's better than pretty good.
Yeah.
I also just want to. I would feel if I picked BC and put money down on BC. Ask me at the end of the first quarter how I'm feeling. That's where all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about Nathan Rourke, because here he is with the lack, let's say the not enough playoff experience, and he's going up against Dave Dickinson on the sideline, who has more playoff experience than probably anyone active in the league right now, to be completely honest about it. So that's actually a good point. That'll be quite the interesting matchup. You've got a guy with maybe 27, 28 playoff games versus a guy with 1. So that'll be interesting. Actually, that's a good point.
Just that would make me nervous. If I was a BC fan, I'd be slightly nervous about that. About anything else, I'd feel pretty good.
On the other hand, they've been ignoring the offense, the opposing offense all year. Oh yeah, they've just, screw it. We're going to score 35 points.
Yep.
We don't care.
And he does have a lot more experience in regular season play now than he did back in 2022. He'd only been a starter for half a season at that point.
8 games. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly Nathan Rourke ascended in this league, considering
he's doing what we expected him to do.
Right.
When he signed last year in August, his play this year is what we expected from him immediately, right? And we were sitting there going, okay, is this ever going to be a thing? What's going on here? They blew the season. They let Vernon Adams go. That was the entire conversation at the end of 2024, right? We're here a year later, and are we questioning BC anymore? I don't think we are.
Well, You are questioning them in the playoffs, though.
I want to see them. I want to see them come. Well, I'm not questioning the entire team. I want to see
No,
Nathan Work just handle the playoff pressure and just
Mhm.
go with it because
Mhm.
he's had one shot at it. I want to see. I
Mhm.
want to see him come in, act like it's week 22, and just keep going. Right.
From a PR perspective, from a let's show off the Grey Cup perspective, one of the best things that could happen to this league is BC versus Hamilton in the Grey Cup, and just, set up this scenario of Nathan Rourke versus Bo Levy-Mitchell, basically the two headline quarterbacks in the CFL since Mike Riley was playing in the league.
Yeah, where it's the young gun and the old gunslinger, right?
Right. You have the old dominant force of the CFL versus, the new
Versus
face
the future of the league,
right,
right?
right. And if the
And
weather
future
isn't
commissioner
difficult,
if things go break well, right? Not that I'm
right.
bitter or anything.
All right. Yeah, still, I know, Joe, you're still smoldering on that. I got you. Okay, so I think we're both going Lions here. Stamps plus 5.5.
If
What do
the
you think?
Lions play the way they're capable of,
Uh-huh.
which is still a question because I mean this is still the Lions. They've been doing this for like the last 3-4 years where they are up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if they play the way they're capable of, forget it. This isn't even a contest. You could turn it off at halftime and be okay, right?
Wow.
If
Wow.
but I've also sat there and watched them lose to Ottawa this year. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, twice.
just let's see them do it before we go, yeah, they'll be great in Winnipeg in the end of in mid-November, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, they are 6-0. They are on the 6-0 run. They've basically they're on the same run as Montreal right now.
Yeah.
So more or
I
less.
mean, really as a
So,
fan taking the W off for a moment, if I'm a fan of the league, I'm begging BC to show up
oh, sure.
and
Oh,
have
absolutely.
and make the West Final
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
make that West Final be something really interesting to watch, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've been waiting for it ever since Calgary hit that wall. I feel like we've been waiting for Saskatchewan, BC for
Mhm.
much of the season here.
And Calgary's
And
got the nobody believes in his card to play, so they might well play it, right?
nobody believes in us. Returning to the playoff after a long 1-year drought for this franchise. Come on.
I mean, we
Nobody
all wrote
believes.
him off after 8-7, right?
Well, yeah, but on the other hand, when they were at what 5-1, they were looking like world beaters.
It's like, who are
You
you?
know
Where'd you come from?
exactly.
And then it's like, oh, right, you're Calgary.
Well, for some reason, I mean, again, like what is the deal with the Stamps? 5-0 against those two teams, and really, again, just marginal against everybody else. What? I mean, we're gonna forget the particulars, but Jesus, if we look back, if Stamps fans look back on this season, they just got to be shaking their heads. It's like, what's going on here? Especially 3-0 against the Riders like this year. What is happening here? I'll tell you what, if Calgary does win this game, that Calgary at Saskatchewan game is going to be about the easiest CFL game to pick all year. There's no way the Stamps could beat the Riders this year 4 times. So that would be one for the ages if that happened. You'd be
I wonder who Saskatchewan would rather play right now, honestly.
yeah. I know who I would be pulling for if I were a Riders fan. I'd be pulling for Calgary. I do not want to see this BC team. I don't.
Except except the Rider fans are the ones that have taught us the ABCs of the CFL, according to them, which is anyone but Calgary.
anyone but Calgary. But this year, BC is a machine. But I think we're gonna get BC Saskatchewan. I think that's gonna be a great game too. I like some of these playoff games coming up. No offense, Joe, but I'm kind of looking forward to the Hamilton Montreal game that I've been waiting for half the season in these playoffs.
And Montreal is like could be the best team in the league if Davis Alexander's standing up straight, right?
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, if you take out that run, if you take out the 0-5 run, but again, we're playing quarterback roulette. This is a 10-3 team. I mean, Jesus, 10-2. If you also take out the game last week, that it's a preseason game, as you said. I mean, we're 10-2 when Davis is starting, or it's a key game. This is a good team. This is a good, and right now we're one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs. If you just go sheerly by that dogma, Montreal, BC, in the cup, those are the hottest teams. And
ironically, the first Grey Cup I ever saw in Winnipeg.
Nice.
I mean, if you said that's your matchup, sign here, I'd go. Okay, fine. That sounds like fun. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be great. The top defense versus the top offense. How can you hate that? How can you hate that? That would be a good one. In any case, okay. Well, let's wrap it up here. Are we doing Sunday? Are we recording on Sunday after the daylight savings?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Let's do that then. We will meet after the playoff games. They are on Saturday, right? The games are.
Yes,
on
they
Saturdays.
are, and they're earlier because of the Blue Jays being in the World Series, right?
Right.
Because that game could be in the late window, right?
So you can have a triple header.
You could. I mean, that sounds like a great day in Canada, right?
Sweet. Yeah. Wow. All right. Now I'm stoked.
I mean, I think we found the only thing that could keep people from watching the Leafs on Saturday night, right?
Wow. Yeah. No joke.
One time only, but here we are, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Could have the triple box going there.
It totally could.
This game goes into overtime. This BC game goes into overtime. You could have the triple box. All right. Well, Joe, enjoy the game. I will apologize in advance in case we win. But sorry, not sorry.
I've already kind of written it off. So.
Well, sorry, not sorry.
If you do win, just don't screw it up next week. Okay.
Oh God. I got to tell me, I'm going to grow old in that 1 week before the Hamilton game, if that's what it comes down to.
See, these are West Finals. All this gray hair in my beard. Those are West Final gray hairs. Because like the Grey Cup, okay, fine.
Right.
But like to lose on the doorstep somehow feels worse.
Right.
I don't know why that is, but like losing on the doorstep feels so much worse than losing in the game. I don't.
Yeah, I can see that. I get unless you're one of these just happy to be here teams. In the NFL, we had this with Washington last year. Why are we here? Let's not question it. I don't think those fans were too heartbroken last year. However,
no, but when you're the home team against one of your rivals, like. It's one thing to lose to a Toronto or a Montreal, but dear God, don't lose to Saskatchewan in the playoffs. Like, anything but that. Like Toronto, fine. Montreal, fine. Saskatchewan, no.
Right. Amazing that with all this talk we're doing about the Riders, they're not even playing this week.
No, but I mean they're kind of living rent free right now. So.
Right. All right.
Again, the thing I don't want to see in Winnipeg is Saskatchewan carrying the Grey Cup around at the 55-yard line.
Yeah.
Right.
In Winnipeg. In Winnipeg. Wow.
Almost had it 3 years ago the opposite way.
Mhm.
They might have taken
Mhm.
some of the sting out of it.
Right. In any case, okay, let's get out of here. This has been the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast, a Shotgun Sports Network production. My name is Oz Davis. For my co-host Joe Pritchard, we are out of here. Playoffs, baby. Enjoy the games.